Okay,
All right.
go.
Hi, guys. My name is Elle Smith from the VA-Wise region,
Yes, and I'm Sarah Nugent from Tri-Cities region.
and we're presenting the workshop today, Look to be a Leader.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start it off with an icebreaker. So the way that we're going to do this is if you guys want to put any of the answers to the questions in the chat, feel free, or if you want to unmute and explain, I'll prompt you to it. So the first thing that we're going to do is everybody, you guys all have nameplates on Zoom, and if you want, you can change it to like a fun name, a nickname, or anything. I'll go ahead and tell you my nickname. My nickname is Nugget. And the reason I have this nickname is because you look at my last name and a lot of people miss the N. So I get Nugget a lot. And I played soccer and lots of times there's lots of other Sarahs. So I go by Nugget.
And then I'm going to share mine. My nickname is LMNO or LMNOP, and that's because I'm a team leader at summer camps, and a lot of kids say, oh, your name's a letter. So we just added on a couple more to go along with it.
Yes. Okay. Does anybody else want to share their nickname or put it in the chat? If not, that's fine, and I'll keep moving. All right. So next we're gonna figure out where everyone is from. So make sure you know your region also. If everybody could put in the link that is on the screen, it's bolded and it's poll.ev/, yeah, it's right there. So everybody put in that link and make sure you click on the title of your region and you'll see a bunch of people's like where they're from pop up. So this is a fun way to see where everyone's from. I'm Tri-Cities and Elle is UVA-Wise, which you can see.
And if you're on your phone, you can even like click off and go to Safari and it will just like pause your Zoom.
Yeah. The only thing that will happen is we just can't see your face, but it'll come back once you come. So yeah, I'll refresh. Oh, I see one from Capital. Colonial. I wonder if we'll get all of them.
We got one from Tri-Cities, 3 from Tri-Cities.
Tri-Cities represent.
Blue Ridge.
Okay, I know we have wow, we have 38 participants, so I should see close to that many.
Hey, there's some on the top of Virginia. This is so cool, and we're all connecting right now.
Is it pollev.com/L Smith? What is it?
833.
833. Okay. I'll send that.
Thank you guys for participating. This is just a really cool visual way to see.
Where everyone.
One from New River. You guys are right next to me.
I think we need one from Longwood, Tidewater, and Germana.
Oh. I said, Mr. Farrell, you can put your location. He said, I live in Oklahoma. I said, oh, I'm sorry. So he's the one that keeps dropping them.
All right. Hopefully you guys are wrapping up with that.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much.
Okay. And so our last little question for our icebreaker is something interesting you've done in quarantine. And you can put this in the chat. My thing is that I've done a lot of puzzles. My family and I did a 2,000-piece one. And then the other day I did a 1,000-piece one all by myself in less than 24 hours. I was really proud of myself. Roller skate, baking.
I'll share my interesting thing that I've done in quarantine. And I actually did like bleach tie-dye. So it's supposed to be like things that you use in your house. And then I was asked to record it for like a project that I had in my community. So I got to reflect on it, but then also like see the errors and the learning that I went through for that project.
That's awesome. All right, I love seeing what you guys have done. Photography. Ooh, we have an artist. Cool. Seems baking is a hot topic.
Yes, well, the issue is if you bake it, you eat it at home.
I know. All right. Thank you for sharing.
All right, so within this presentation, you guys came here today to learn the steps to be a leader. So we're going to go over 3 main topics, and that's why leaders eat last, the 10 steps to form a relationship, and the leadership offered within FBLA.
Okay, so just to set some ground rules, we have a few expectations for this meeting. Our first one is learning. We just want you guys to listen and take in as much as you can. With that being said, we do have everyone on mute so that it's not distracting for any reason. We really want as much participation as possible so we can see your faces, see your comments, make sure you're using the chat or reactions. So that's super important for us. If you have questions during any of it, please ask them and we will answer. And then follow up. If you guys, after our presentation, if you guys have any questions or feedback, we'd love to hear it. So just keep that in mind as we're going through.
All right, so we're talking about leaders, but you can question what are the qualities of a leader. And so we have a couple of balloons here. And so we want to inspire action. You want to find a goal and work with others to create a change in the world. So you want to reach for that action. Next, create a circle of safety. So whenever we started this presentation, we pushed everyone to try and share their name or share something about them from quarantine because we wanted everyone to feel connected and feel safe, because if other people are going to contribute their ideas, you'll learn more along the way. The third quality of a leader is to tell the truth. If you tell the truth, you're going to gain trust from other people and be able to have a healthy relationship and work together to complete an action. The fourth goal is to lead the people and not the numbers. We see this in many corporations, that the ones who care about the people and care about the social change that is going to take place, the more support they have and actually the more successful, rather than focusing on the economic numbers. And the last quality of a leader is to choose to eat last. And this is worded a little weird, but it's going to help us later in the presentation. And so something that kind of refers back to this is, I know in the Marines, whenever officers and the people under them are going to eat, the main officer will actually eat last because he wants his people to be taken care of first, and they want to have the same respect to the people lower than them. So it's a respect thing and keeping everyone involved. And so these qualities of a leader are balloons because we want to help rise up to our greatest expectations. So Why Leaders Eat Last is actually a book by Simon Sinek, and it talks about putting other people first. And so here's this quote here, and I'm gonna actually read it because I feel like it has a lot of great components. So read along with me. Leaders are the ones who are willing to give up something of their own for us. Their time, their energy, their money, maybe even the food off of their plate. When it matters, leaders choose to eat last. And so another analogy or visualization that you can see is it says their energy and their time, and we already covered money and food. And so I see like the posts on Instagram that are like the wolf pack, and whenever they travel, they actually put the elderly and the sick at the front of the pack and put the alpha at the back. So the alpha can watch over its people and know the pace that they need to take, because you're only as strong as your weakest member. So here are some cool points that are brought up in Why Leaders Eat Last. And it's not the psychology, but it's the biology within a leader. So everyone produces these chemicals within their body, but leaders are the ones who truly use these. And I feel like breaking them down leads you to better develop these qualities. So the first one, endorphins. Endorphins mask physical pain. And you've heard this reference in a runner's high. So people who run a lot or do sports, after a while, the pain is all gone and they're on their high. Another example of this that's really simple is whenever you laugh, you're actually convulsing your organs. So have you ever heard someone say, stop, don't make me laugh anymore, it hurts? that's because your organs are really pushing against each other and producing these endorphins that make you laugh even more. So the next chemical that leaders focus on is dopamine. Dopamine is the feeling after an accomplishment or focus on goals and progress. And so whenever you receive your diploma on stage, that's a goal that you strove for. And dopamine is even contagious. So whenever you go on stage to shake your principal's hand for your diploma and you make eye contact with your family in the audience, they're going to get that same feeling of accomplishment because they helped you along the way. The next chemical we're talking about today is oxytocin. Oxytocin is the relationship chemical. And so the more time that we spend together, the better our relationship's going to form. And you hear many people say, time tells. And so the longer we spend here today, hopefully by the end we're all with each other and we know why we're here as leaders. The last leadership chemical is serotonin, and it's focused on leadership, pride, and status. And when I was doing my research for this, it brought up the point that kind of made me sad. Plankton from SpongeBob was always after the serotonin, and that's because he wanted to be a leader. And so serotonin we can actually trick whenever you want to be a leader. It's a little trick that I learned during presentations, as you can see. But you dress yourself up or you wear something that makes you feel confident, so then you produce even more serotonin. And then on the flip side, we have the stress and anxiety hormone, and that's called cortisol. And everyone has cortisol because in our caveman era, we needed this whenever we sensed danger, we need to be nervous, or if we need to go after a meal, we didn't want to wait until as soon as we were hungry, we wanted to go hunt. So it makes you nervous, but leaders learn how to use that to their advantage.
Okay, so the next question we have for you guys is, what characteristics do you look for in a leader? This can be like a personal opinion, but what we want you to do when you're answering this question is, you'll see on the screen how we have texted the number 22333 and then L Smith 833. And we want you guys to text that and you'll get a response back. And once you do that, you'll see this big word thing pop up as all the responses come in. So again, the question is, what characteristics do you look for in a leader? And I'll put the I will put the text thing in the chat button. So text L Smith 8332.
And actually, the more responses that are given back, if you guys say, what do you think leader is? Confident. The more people who say that word, the bigger that word's going to get. So
I'm
it's really.
Go ahead and do mine.
I'm typing mine in too right now. So please feel free to join in on this. It's a really cool visual that we can all join in on. And as soon as you text that, then you send in the word again after that text.
Confidence.
Woo! Responsible.
They're coming in. Oh, this is so cool.
Confidence is a big one, I see.
Mm-hmm.
Fun.
I'm putting in personable because I think that a leader should be able to have really good communication and like just be able to be friends with someone, whether they're working or not. This is awesome, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Empathy, that's a good one. Because like we said before, like the CEOs who look at the people rather than the numbers are actually more successful. Generous. That's so cool, guys. Thank you.
Okay, so we saw what you guys thought characteristics of a leader were, and so I'm going to go ahead and read off the definition of just the Google definition of what it is. So it says, leadership is both a research area and a practical skill encompassing the ability of an individual or organization to lead or guide other individuals, teams, or entire organization. So I think this just sums it up, but I really love the characteristics that y'all sent in. So thank you for doing that.
Okay, so we learned the characteristics and the qualities of a leader and the book definition. But once you achieve that level, like you guys are showing up here today, you're putting in that effort, the next step is to create a relationship. And so you see in the little itty bitty corner, it says John Beatty. And the picture of the mountain is actually there for a purpose, not just the aesthetics of this presentation. But that's actually Mount Everest, and that's the biggest mountain in the world. And so John Beatty is a speaker, and he actually climbed Mount Everest. But he said on his journey, he didn't just reflect back on the accomplishments he made, but the relationships that he built to accomplish such a great task. And then he turned that into steps to become a leader and build relationships. So the first step that we have here is to smile. And that goes back to the dopamine that we have. And whenever you smile at someone and someone smiles back at you, that's an exchange that you have of dopamine. So you always want to smile, and it makes you look very welcoming and approachable to gain that relationship. The second step, touch in an unusual way. Okay, this sounds really, really awkward, but it means we're physical animals, and so you always want to either give a handshake, or if you're in a church or a wedding, hugs are even okay to do. And so you want to do this to gain that relationship. And you might still think that this is a crazy situation. So here's a scenario that might help open your eyes, because I didn't realize the full effect until it was explained to me this way. So if me and Sarah were creating a deal, and on Friday she wanted to borrow my car, and I said, okay, Sarah, you're so responsible, I trust you, but could you give me $10, and when you go out, can you bring me back some pad thai from the Thai food you're going to? And she says, yeah, that's a great deal. You are getting what you want, and I'm getting to use your car. So we create out this whole agenda that we want. We both sign it. And at the end, she says, okay, let's shake on it. And I say, no, I got what I wanted. We're good to go. And she goes, no, let's shake on it like we're friends. And I say, no, you got what you want. We're good to go. Then she's going to either stop the deal or she's going to go into it nervous, because that's something that we do as humans. Step number 3, compliment them. And this that you just have to push out there, but you always want to be evaluating your situations. And so as Sarah and I were practicing for this presentation, we talked about how compliments of knowledge, or you're so smart, or you're so dedicated, are really great compliments, and that helps me feel closer to whoever I'm talking to. And these first 3 steps, you want to try to accomplish them in the first minute that you meet someone. So these steps are really good for any social gatherings or business meetings that you have. The next steps, 4 through 10, you want to complete in the next 10 minutes. So step number 4, remember and use their name. At the beginning of this presentation, Sarah and I asked for your nicknames or your real name and a story about them. And we say this because this is like a little gift we're exchanging. Everyone has their own unique name and their own unique story behind it. Using their name makes them feel like you listen to them, you know something about them, and it shares that connection. Step number 5, ask what makes them tick. This sounds a little negative, so you can flip it around and say, what's something that you have a hobby in, or what's a passion that you have? And this opens the question if maybe you want to spend a lot of time with them. If they are really compatible with you, you might want to see them twice a week. But if they have a different morals in life than you, you might just want to see them once a month in your relationship. Step number 6, be quiet and listen. And so we muted ourselves at the beginning of our presentations because we want everyone to feel respected and appreciated throughout this presentation. And for example, I had the opportunity to meet the governor, and I got to go on FBLA and 4-H business in my leadership roles. And when I went to talk to him, I remember coming back to my mom and saying, it was really cool when I met the governor partner, he just listened. And it made me feel like my voice was being heard and that I was changing the world just by him opening his ears. Step number 7, connect with them with someone similar. So if I say, oh, so-and-so is like my best friend Sarah, then they're going to feel elevated and know their position in my life and try to figure out if maybe that's what they want or maybe that's what they don't want. Step number 8, talk about people behind their back. So we're always told not to gossip, and that's what I'm reiterating, but you want to talk positive behind people's backs. So another example, if I'm becoming friends with Sarah and I go up to Zach, our other friend in FBLA, and I say, Sarah is very dedicated. I am so excited to do this presentation with her. She is just so enthusiastic about what she does. You hear my bell ringing. I'll wait until it's over. Can you guys hear me? Shake your head. Okay, awesome. So whenever I'm in this relationship, whenever I tell Zach something good about Sarah, 2 things could happen. The first thing could be that Zach eventually meets Sarah and says, Elle was talking so good about you. She really appreciates you. And Sarah and our relationship can be strengthened. But if Zach and Sarah never meet, then Zach knows no matter what, I will always talk good about him and that he can rely on me as a friend. Step number 9, mirror them. And this doesn't mean if I raise my hand, you guys automatically do. But this means if you're talking open or making straight eye contact, you want to mimic that because they are purposely doing those actions and it actually creates a relationship that way. And the last step to create a relationship is a contact method. And the easiest way for me to do that is I have a business card, or I know everyone has their phones on them nowadays. And this contact method is the same as giving a little gift, but it's also a way that they can contact you and they know that you want to further this relationship and develop it later on.
Okay, thank you, Elle, for that was just amazing. So we're gonna go ahead and move into programs in FBLA and how to become a leader in FBLA and all the different things involved. So you can do this through many ways. You can do it through competing in any of the events, no matter what level. You can participate and fly, which you guys are all doing, so thank you. And then if you want to be an officer, you can do this in your local chapter, or you can do this even in your regional level or the state level. And so all of these things are so amazing, and all of the leadership skills will apply to no matter what level you're in. And then the CSA and the BSAs, those are just super great ways to exemplify all of the leadership skills that you've learned and kind of get a reward for them. So that's really nice to have. I think my computer is frozen.
I can still hear you.
Okay, I can sort of hear you now. Did the screen change?
Yeah, you're good to go. Oh.
Oh, okay.
I like how she's frozen with a smile on her face, though. I think she might be joining back in. But I'll go ahead and move on because
I'm back.
Oh, yay! I was about to say, okay. We're a team. We practiced this together. We got it.
Okay, all right. So then for this slide, this is just the topics that we're going to be talking about. So we're going to be talking about professionalism, leadership and teamwork, and giving back. And so here are just some 3 kind of headers and ways to be professional and things that you should always keep in mind when dealing with FBLA or just life in general. We'll start it off with speech. You want to make sure that when you're speaking that everything is clear, distinctive, loud, you have really good enunciation. And when a listener hears this, they hear the confidence in your voice, and that just conveys a really great message and makes people want to believe what you're saying. Visuals and interaction. So you can see that Elle and I, throughout this presentation, we've had a bunch of different ways that we can connect with you, whether that be through other websites or the chat. So our presentation has some cool, like, eye candy, if you want to call it, just cool things to look at. So that's always good. And then the parliamentary procedure. So some of you may not know what this is. That's okay. But a good example and a way to understand this is think of a local chapter meeting that you have, and it's just the organization of a way a meeting is run. And so these are things that you can have so you can have consistency throughout all of your meetings. And then for gifts, you want to make sure to be grateful for anything you receive. It's super important that you convey your gratefulness. When giving a gift, it's the action over the value. So it's not the monetary value of what you're giving, it's the feeling that you get inside when you give it. So I always think of Christmas morning and you're giving your sister or your brother or any of your family members a gift that you have worked so hard on, and you're just so excited to give it to them. That's the feeling that you should get all the time whenever you're giving a gift. And so that's really great. Simplicity. So when giving a gift, like, it does not have to be like, it's fun to be like over the top, but it doesn't have to be. And you shouldn't expect them to return it is probably another good way to say it. It's just something to show that you're thankful for what they are doing. And complimentary. So when I say this, think of a hotel. So you could be staying in the presidential suite of a hotel, or you could just be in a normal hotel room. Either one of them is fine. But what you'll notice is that in the bathrooms on all the hotel, you'll get the free soap, the free shampoo and conditioner, but it's the same quality as the one if you're in the presidential suite and if you're just in a normal hotel room. So that's kind of what I mean when I say complimentary. Thank yous. So whenever you receive a gift, it is probably the most important thing that you can do, and to build a relationship with someone is to write a thank you note. You can handwrite it, which is preferred if you get the opportunity to. When you're getting a contact from someone, you can feel free to ask for their address. They will not think it's weird. It's just professional. And if you don't have an opportunity to get their address, an email is great too. Anything that you can do to make sure that people know that what they did is thanked. Again, with that being said, if you're handwriting, make sure you use black or blue ink. It's a universal thing. And we'll go into more detail. I know there's a workshop on this later in the conference. Moving on to giving back. This is very important, whether it be giving back money or volunteering, anything that you can do. It's always kind of a good way to go by just donating 10%, whether that be money or 10% of your week if you're volunteering for like a half a day or a day, and every week. It all adds up and it's all very great. The next thing I have is give back to get back. And no, that does not mean I'm going to give Elle $5 and then I expect her later in the week to go and buy me lunch. That's not what I mean. When I say give back to get back, I mean you give to your community and you will see everything that you are doing and see it come back for future generations. So that is really amazing thing to do. And an example of this would be the homeless. So a lot of times, say you drop off food to the homeless. A lot of times what they'll do is they'll take it and they'll give the small bit that they have and give it to other people who need it too. So I think that that's just a great idea. It doesn't matter how well off you are or not, it's just good. And then charity tax exemptions. This is just for taxes, kind of the boring stuff, but that's great. And then an example for the tax exemptions would be FBLA working with the March of Dimes. Okay, and so leadership and teamwork. So this is one of probably the most important things that you're going to have to deal with throughout your whole career, whether it be in FBLA or outside of FBLA, you're always going to be working with other people. So these are super important to remember. So our first one that we have was, with a room full of members, rules are keys. So Elle and I set expectations at the beginning because we knew we would have a lot of people. And so it's just important to have ground rules so that everybody is on the same page about what's right and what is wrong. Speak one at a time. This can be super important when you're in a huge meeting, because if you don't follow this, then it can be hard to hear everybody's information and try and hear everybody's points get across. So speaking one at a time is really important, so you hear all of the great ideas come across. Be prompt with ideas. When you're trying to give like an idea for like a meeting or something, make sure you have what you want to say in your brain and keep it short, brief, and clear so that people can focus on what you're saying, but it comes across like super fast, and it's just very good because it will just make everything clear. Always discuss and vote. You don't want to do something if not everyone is, or if the majority isn't okay with it. You're not always going to have a unanimous vote, but you do need to discuss even if you disagree so that everybody knows what's happening and why you chose to do something. And then the last one I have a little bit separated. And it said, it's in bold and all caps, and I did this for a reason because I think it is the most important thing that you can do in your life is respect everyone. And it doesn't matter if you maybe don't have the same interests as a person, and even if you're not gonna like every person that you meet, and that's okay. I'm not asking you to, but you do need to share respect with everyone that you meet.
All right, guys, so here's a little recap in our Lead to Inspire. So the first step that we want you guys to get out of this is to reach out. So all of you guys showing up here today is a step reaching out, and you're trying to develop your leadership skills. The next one is learn. So when you guys gave us feedback, we actually learned from this presentation, and then hopefully you guys took something away from this presentation as well. Which brings us to the next step, to network. So you want to get feedback and know your community, because you can't develop yourself as far as you would in a team effort, because everyone brings to the table different ideas. The fourth one, again, etiquette, and that means respect everyone. Respect yourself, respect the people in your community, and this can be, I know the first thing when I hear etiquette is food, and then it can go to writing a letter or even how you dress. And then it goes further on into how you communicate with others and how you speak to others. You want to do it in a very professional manner. And then the last one is the most important. And we try to keep this streamlined throughout our whole presentation, and that's to be grateful. And we're given so many opportunities. And I know right now with the COVID-19 going on, we have been given this opportunity to still present to each other. And I know the best part of going to the FBLA conference is being able to talk to everyone else. And so the next slide pulls up all this gratefulness together. And we want everyone to reach out because we are so blessed to have been given this platform and to talk with you guys. So definitely be grateful in whatever you do, because it will definitely take you longer in the long run.
Yes, so at this point, we have finished with all of our information for this workshop, but please, if you have questions, feel free to unmute yourself, ask them, and please follow us on Instagram because we'd love to see your faces. I should be getting 45 follow requests from all of you, but if you have any questions or just you have anything that you'd like to say, please say it now. And it was so great to see everyone here and see 45 people. That's amazing. We had no idea what to expect, but Elle and I, we love doing this. So,
and you don't have to follow us or text us just based off of if you want to be a leader or if you want to be more active in FBLA. We're real people too, and we wanted to keep that ingrained. So if you want to talk about anything, if you want to share advice with us, we are very grateful for that, and we would love to hear from you guys.
I've gotten 2, so that's a start.
Yay!
All right. Thank you guys so much for coming.
This was a great experience.
I know, we're getting comments out. You might want to go look.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both. If you guys do have any questions, feel free to reach out to Sarah and Elle. And thank you for kicking us off with our first Blue Blazer briefing. We have another awesome presentation tomorrow and Thursday, so be sure to log into those. Many of you have already received your logins and credentials for the virtual SLC site. Another 100 of those are going out as we speak. So if you didn't get those yet, just be on the lookout and be patient. And be patient with the system as people are getting logged in and navigating that. But you have a lot to explore. But yes, definitely keep the dialogue and the questions coming and the engagement that we have. It's wonderful to see everyone. But again, thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Elle. Wonderful job today.
Thank
And
you.
Thank
everyone
you.
have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you, guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye.